This is America. People can do what they want with their bodies, whether you like it or not.
Russell's dressed like a dork, so you can imagine I'm going to win.
There's nothing more smug than a person eating an Impossible Burger.
I would consider that to be almost identical to a meat. Unless you've eaten it, you don't know what I mean.
You don't know. You have no idea.
Exactly. So I could be eating meat for all you know. It's
You wouldn't know.
impossible to tell.
Yeah, because you haven't eaten it before.
Welcome to hell. Devil's Advocate pits lawyer against lawyer in a battle royale to answer the age-old question, who's better at arguing? The rules of the game are, we spin the Wheel of Misfortune to decide on a topic. Once a topic has been selected, the advocates must answer a set of polarizing questions. When they disagree, the game begins. Each advocate must argue their side, but here's the devilish twist. They must argue for the side they did not select. Let the depravity commence.
Welcome to Devil's Advocate. Today we've got two divorce attorneys battling it out. We've got Russell and Rahul, and they're both based out of Chicago, and we're excited to have them.
Yeah. Do you guys have any trash talk before we get started? Or is that...
Against each other?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess you let your words...
We talk a lot. We
arguments-
pick each other's brains every other day, probably. Or every times.
You let your arguments do the talking.
Russell's dressed like a dork, so you can imagine I'm going to win.
Oh, we need the shots fired sound.
I'm
All
sure.
right, I'm going to spin the wheel. Start. Okay, and we're starting with divorce.
It's our wheelhouse.
Yep, this should be a good, nice softball way to start a conversation with divorce. Okay, ready? First question. Custody laws should be updated to favor joint custody by default.
I'll take that. I'm licensed in Florida, where that is the fact. It's got to be the default is 50-50.
So yes, or this is a yes, no. If you guys disagree, then we're going to trigger the game.
Okay, well, I think so. I think they should be changed.
If you want me to disagree, I'll disagree. Just so we can have some fun here. No. But realistically, I probably believe yes, it should be.
Okay, so just since it's the first one of the day, I'm going to reiterate the directions here. Rahul, because you said no, you're now taking the position of yes, which is what you wanted. So you've effectively played 4D chess. Good work. And Russell, because you took yes, you're now
Sure.
taking no.
Yeah, no problem.
I love it. I love it.
Begin.
So yes, it has to be updated because the advent of work from home, the weight of each party carrying their respective loads for the children are now moving forward into the 21st century. Gone are the days where we're antiquated, where the mother is the breadwinner staying at home and the fathers are going to work and coming back. The mother is rearing a child at home. It is much more important for both parties and the children. It's in their best interest to have both parents equally available to them in their respective way to care for them and take care of them. So I am firmly in the position that the custody laws have to be updated to reflect a very equitable schedule between both parents.
Well, that's a load of nonsense. There should be, you know what there should be? There should be an individual court for each couple that goes through a divorce that bases their decisions based on the facts pertinent to that couple, instead of having some broad swath of rules that say, well, this is the default, work from the default. In fact, you know where that happens? In swampy red states like Florida. Like, it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because one size fits all is a disaster. Due process is about each person being able to bring their own facts, their own case, their own laws in front of the judge, and the judge making a decision based on their personal decision, not some broad default. Defaults are bad ideas.
That sounds great, but I don't think the position was, should the law be 50-50? It said, do we start from a position of 50-50? I think practicing in a state where it does not have a 50-50 sort of default, I should say, starting point, it is often much harder, unfortunately, for men to get anywhere close to 50-50 than women, despite the fact that, you know, in the best case scenario, you do want a court to determine what is in a child's best interest. However, it doesn't really work that way, and we're not saying that everybody should have 50-50. We're saying we should start with the presumption that both parents are equally good parents, and it's up to one parent to decide and determine and convince a judge if the other parent is not as good, shouldn't have 50-50 or not. Starting from saying no that parent should not have 50-50 gives you a higher burden and a higher mountain to climb than if you both started at an equal playing field.
See, the practical reason, I'm licensed in Florida where this does happen. And then what ends up happening is dad moves out. He moves into a 1-bedroom apartment with his girlfriend and then says, all right, the kids are going to be with me half the time. And that's the default. And then mom's got to be like, no, wait, like that's not good. And it's clearly not good. If it's clearly not good, why do you do it? And instead, it just forces more litigation when instead there should be a careful analysis by typically a courts expert like a guardian ad litem or child representative. And surprise, surprise, Florida really doesn't have either of those things, at least not in the same capacity. They just go by the default. One size fits all does not work.
Okay, I think we're going to cut it. Good arguments on both sides. Good job,
Thank
guys. Made some great points. Okay. I'm going to spin the wheel. If I know anything, it's probably going to land on divorce again because this software is bad. I knew it. Wow. What a surprise. At least this time it didn't say, let's eat divorce. That is usually what it says. I guess you get to maybe fix that for us. Okay, let's do another divorce one. I think this is a good starting point. Next one. History of domestic violence should automatically block a parent from seeking custody. You guys should answer at the same time, by the way. Because otherwise,
Like,
No.
what do we say? Agree? Yeah, no, the two. I mean,
okay. Child support calculations should be based on the child's actual needs rather than a percentage of the paying parent's income.
No.
In cases involving a stay-at-home parent, it's fair to consider their contributions to the household as equal to financial earnings when dividing assets.
Yes.
Divorce proceedings should factor in a spouse's mental health when determining custody or financial arrangements.
not for financial reasons.
Yes.
No.
Okay, can we call that a disagreement?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, we'll call it a disagreement. You guys are disagreeing, and just to be clear again, so Russell says yes, it should be a factor. Rahul, you're arguing on behalf of no. It should not be. And begin.
If someone's mental state is inherent in what they're able to do now and what they'll be able to do in the future. So their capacity to think clearly should obviously be a factor the court should consider when they're getting parenting time, making decisions for kids, and even like the income and division of assets. If someone is not able to work because they are mentally incapacitated one way or another, that has to get factored into for the purposes of support, whether it's alimony, also known as maintenance, or child support. In addition, the distribution of assets should also accommodate that. When someone is suffering legitimately from a mental illness and they can't be expected to work or achieve their true potential, I'm sorry, but they're going to get a bigger share of the marital estate because we got to figure out a way let's be frank, to keep them off the streets. Mental illness is real, and mentally ill people get married, and mentally ill people get divorced. But mentally ill people, they really, really suffer in the divorce, and there's got to be some kind of safety net from their soon-to-be ex-spouse.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a factor in determining assets or custody because there are a multitude of reasons why someone may or may not want to get divorced. We can't go through every single one. You can't spend years trying to determine what a mental illness may or may not be. Then you're going to essentially get into a fight in court about whether someone has a mental illness or not. Rather, you say, okay, you were married for this amount of time. This is what it is. This is your default. This is how much money you get. And that's it. Who cares if maybe that's why you're getting divorced, but that shouldn't be a factor in any sort of a determination.
Once again, your one-size-fits-all mentality has put you in a straitjacket to your own egomaniacal manifestations, Rahul. You got to take people as they come. If someone's out of their mind, what are you going to do? Say, too bad, so sad, and goes, they get 50-50 custody, 50-50 division of assets. Like, it doesn't work that way. We have a specific thing to address this because people go into court, and a lot of times everyone in court's like, this guy's got a problem, and we give them what's called a 215 examination so that a doctor can take a look at him and then come back and say, yeah, this person does have a problem. And believe it or not, because the person won't advocate for themselves, because the person invariably, and you know this, Rahul, will come back from the 215 examination and be like, oh, this is all wrong. I'm not crazy at all. When everyone's like, yeah, it sort of confirmed what we thought the whole time.
Well, so why does someone's craziness affect how much money they get?
Because they can't support themselves. They're going to be on the street. I've represented people. The worst is the moms. If a mom is mentally ill and she disappears, they really do go out on the street. There's not it's a really sad situation, and
Because
they need to have more. And frankly, like they need to have. So society's just supposed to take care of them. Their husband or their wife, they married them. They I don't know. I think they need to make a contribution. Period.
All right, we're gonna cut it. By the way, your point about the woman like not having anywhere to go after being deemed mentally unstable and so on and so forth. My wife is a therapist
Yeah.
in New York. Very different here because you never get put out on the street. Like there's always a safety net. They go to MICA shelters if
Yeah.
they're like unable to be in the normal shelter system. But yeah, I think that might
That's
be a Florida
good.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
that sounds like
in
Florida.
Florida, they just water the beaches. Crazy is a relative word down there.
Yeah, that is correct.
All right,
Okay,
let's
let
get
me spinner here. Okay, hopefully we don't get divorce again. Nice. Ooh, we're doing marketing. Firms should understand how the sausage is made when it comes to their marketing.
Not really.
Yes, they should.
Love it. I'm happy you guys disagree here. Okay, well, begin.
Firms do not need to know how the sausage is made.
No,
We're all born.
well,
with
hold on.
Yeah.
I think you should argue the opposite.
Oh, it's supposed to? Oh, rats. Okay. Yeah, sure. He goes, yeah, and he goes, of course firms should know how the sausage is made when they're marketing. They're paying good money for it. They have every right to know what SEO practices their vendors are really providing, what ads they're really providing. Otherwise, they're just giving a certain amount of dollars and then guessing if it works or not. I mean, this isn't a Mad Men episode where, Don Draper goes in the back room and spins up a yarn. This is real life. I make a certain amount of money. I put a certain amount of money aside to try to get future business. I deserve to know what I'm putting in is having a return on that investment. And I deserve to know how.
There is a concept of having too many cooks in the kitchen. The whole firm does not need to know how the marketing is done. One or two decision makers, the CMO, the marketing officer, the owner of the law firm, or anyone else they've designated to control marketing should know how it's working. I feel like you have too many people all trying to chime in with their opinion. There won't be any cohesiveness, or there's going to be internal turmoil about what the right strategy is. So one person or a couple of people, that division, has to determine what the marketing is, and everyone's got to align so the firm puts out a cohesive brand that is appealing to the public versus having everybody in the firm, from the CEO or the founding partner to the law clerk who's in law school, knowing how this marketing stuff is working.
I don't know. Like the marketing is so without the marketing, everything else falls apart. And I think it becomes a problem if the entire firm doesn't have a stake in it. One, because they are stakeholders already. And then two, it's easy for the CMO or the firm owner to get blindsided because they have their own preferences. Like there's some people out there that only use like Instagram, some people that only use TikTok, some people that only use Facebook. If you're stuck on that, you're only going to get that kind of market, and you're going to be completely blinded to what other possibilities there are. You've got your best focus group in the world is everyone on your team. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to use all of them.
Okay, got it. Well, we'll keep it moving. Next topic. Okay, controversial. Controversial topics. What could we have possibly put? Number one, sex work should be legal.
I don't think it should be legal. No.
Oh, this was like an actual natural disagreement. Okay. Yeah. So, Russell, you believe it should be. And Rahul, you don't. You think it's abominable.
The opposite?
Yep.
Oh,
that's what we're doing the whole time.
Yeah, correct.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, and begin.
Go ahead. Rahul. Start.
Oh, it should not be legal because it is an industry that is very predatory for people to be taken advantage of. You have everything from human trafficking, you have children being exploited, you have people who promise the world to certain people, including, what do you hear about, right? You hear about all these stories, you hear about people in Romania without naming any names, you hear about all kinds of people who are in the news, and that's kind of a world where there's a lot of exploitation, there is a lot of pain, there's a lot of mental health issues, and you're really taking advantage of these people. So generally speaking, I would argue that sex work should not be, is it legal? Should not be profitable, should not be something, whatever it is. I think there should be a bar on it. or at very minimum, there should be high regulation on it.
This is America. People can do what they want with their bodies, whether you like it or not. That's just a fact. And the fact of the matter is, it's already legal. It's legal in Las Vegas. It's legal in these other places. These decision areas you're describing aren't rampant or some national crisis there. In fact, I'm no expert on this and haven't done any research, but I'm willing to bet that because it's legal, they actually have social workers who are reaching out to remedy these issues that you addressed. Are these is sex work sad? Yeah. Is sex work problematic? Yeah. None of that means it needs to be illegal. So is eating too many candy bars. At some point, the nanny state has to draw a line and say, I'm not getting into that. But I doubt it ever will. Thanks to people like you, Rahul.
Yep.
All right,
Sorry, we
Russell,
always have to sprint for the mute.
That one-liner at the beginning, so strong.
Yeah, this is America. It's just hard to argue with. I think that won over the jury. Throw in another spin here. Okay, we're gonna do food. Keep it
Let's
light.
do food.
Rahul's never eaten meat, so it better not be a meat-based question.
This is actually gonna work then.
I love it.
didn't
Let's
know
go.
that, but our questions could
go.
be good. Although our first question has nothing to do with food, so throwing in a devil's advocate twist. First question is: you can still listen to Kanye's music despite him as a person. Can you separate the artist from the art?
No.
No, you can't.
All right.
Okay. Nothing to do with food. Okay, next one. Society should shift towards plant-based diets to combat climate change and promote health.
No.
Yes.
Man, you guys are disagreeing a lot. I guess it's good. So, just to be like same page here, Russell, you said yes, right?
Yes.
Or no, Russell, you said no.
I said yes, so that means no.
Oh, you
right?
said yes, so you're
One of
arguing
those?
no. You're arguing no.
Yeah.
Rahul, you said no, so you're arguing yes.
Can you restate
And
the question just so I know I'm arguing yes for what exactly?
Okay, the question was society should shift towards plant-based diets to combat climate change and promote health. And you're saying yes, it should shift in that direction. I mean, that is what you argue. That is how you were arguing, not what you said. I love that we have to explain the game every time.
Complicated.
Our game is so stupid. Okay, and begin.
Yes, society should consider switching to a plant-based diet to promote whatever it is, that needs to be done, because the statistics show switching to a plant-based diet can reduce an individual's carbon footprint by several tons with a vegan or vegetarian diet. And not only is it helping the environment, it might not help you necessarily, but it's going to certainly help future generations and help the planet, because we are certainly not doing anything else trying to promote any sort of healthy lifestyle here. It also is going to help not only the planet, but your internal planet that's within you. It's going to be creating a lot more healthy individuals who can in turn help the planet.
I'm going to tell you why I know from personal experience that a plant-based diet is annoying. I've known Rahul for years, and he's a plant eater exclusively. So whenever we have to find a place to eat, there has to be some plant-based option. And if it's not a plant-based option, you're at a steakhouse or something, he eats like a head of cauliflower or something ridiculous, and you all look for stupid. So for that reason alone, I'm adamantly opposed to any sort of encouragement of this freakish and deviant lifestyle that Rahul has chosen to embrace wholeheartedly.
So this exactly explains that there's no actual good reason why you can't go to. It's more of a selfish reason as to why you shouldn't be on a plant-based diet as much as why it doesn't help you, but it nevertheless helps the planet, and that's what the scientific studies show to be true.
There's nothing more smug than a person eating an Impossible Burger.
That is, I would consider that to be almost identical to a meat. Unless you've eaten it, you don't know what I mean.
You don't know. You have no idea.
Exactly. So I could be eating meat for all you know. It's
You wouldn't
impossible
know.
to tell.
Yeah, because you haven't eaten it before.
Yeah, this is like conversations that we have in the office with some of our vegan employees, and they're trying to debate that a vegan BLT is as good as a regular one, and it's just like, you don't even know. You've forgotten what bacon tastes like. Can't be
For the
compared.
record, yeah, I hate Impossible Burgers. Just for the record, it tastes terrible and it's really bad for you.
Very oily.
is
Very
very-
oily.
Ton of sodium, very
Yeah.
oily. It's
Yep.
just not good for you. It's
Yeah,
just
I
really
like
bad.
the what's the other one? Not Impossible. Beyond. I like the Beyond one more though.
I don't like either.
Yeah,
I've never
I'm
tried
kind of-
either. I don't know.
you think it's like calamity that there's almond milk. You don't believe in animal-based milks.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
I do think they taste disgusting.
It's weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is weird. I agree.
Mhm.
America. Let's
Yeah.
let's round out here with our made-up word section. Just to reiterate how this works, there's no debate. You guys don't have to take the opposite side of anything. What you do have to do is define a completely made-up word that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So we'll give you the word. Each of you can give your own definition. If one of you feels like the other person's definition is correct and they've nailed it and that is what the word means, you could say so. But to be warned, that is considered abandoning. Like you have effectively lost the round.
Okay.
Okay. And there's two good ones here. Do you have a preference on 5 versus 10?
I preferred 5.
Kind of prefer 10. All right, maybe
Do either.
we'll do both.
Do
Well,
either.
let's see. Let's start with it. We'll do 5. Okay, the word is the word is floopery.
Can you say that again?
Floopery.
I would define floopery as a clumsy, unintentional action or actions that creates chaos, confusion in sort of a podcasting or an office environment. Sort of like kind of a synonym for like floopery, or he's being whimsical, he's being floopery, something like that.
Like devil's advocate is floopery.
Devil's
This
advocate
podcast
is
is slightly
floopery.
floopery.
Yeah, there
I
is
would
a
agree. That
touch
sounds
of
like a good
floopery.
definition. Uh-huh.
This is a total floopery, this game.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Okay, I could see that. Russell, you're up.
A floopery is to describe something that's overly soft. So something's floopery, just like something would be slippery, that it has a floopy quality to it. So therefore, the floopiness means it's overly soft. It doesn't have a strong form or strong internal structure. So maybe like a bunch of soap bubbles from from your dishes could be floopery. That effect.
Yeah, I think that's also correct. I think it can be used interchangeably.
Those were both really strong.
Either whimsical and clumsy or slippery and has no shape.
Lacking of shape.
Lacking of shape,
Yeah.
yes. The two definitions of floopery. Okay, and that rounds out today's Devil's Advocate. Thanks for hopping on with us, Russell and Rahul. You guys played an
Yes.
excellent game. We'll probably have a debate around who won later,
Okay.
maybe. But I think
Amazing.
it was overall my takeaways. Russell with America. I think Rahul with floopery. Everybody's a winner. And we'll see you on the next Devil's Advocate.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Devil's Advocate. Who do you think the winner was? Make sure to leave a comment to let us know. DM us for any ghoulish topics you think we should dare to debate. We'll catch you in the next one.